Peace, 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 peace. You know the vibes, man. Right now, 7:05 live right here on the Ringside Club channel. We're live on YouTube. We're live on my Twitter. We're live on the Ringside Club Twitter. This is episode number 10 of the Signature Move with A.O. Baker. My name is A.O. We have a special guest. I'm going to get into all of the introductions. But first, let's hit that theme music one time for the one time. 10 times out of 10 I'm right. With this pen I write the thoughts of a genius, verified that I'm nice. My quotables are quotable, just ask me the price. Legend in 2 games, Steve Stout on the mic. I stand on my square, whatever circle I'm in. Circle the block before I step in the spot in this world of sin. Ain't here to be a victim, a villain. I'm here for business, sipping light beer like Mans Warner and pure denim.
Shook, got them spinning they boots. It get crazy when I get in the mood. Don't talk to me, dog, until you finish your food. Hope your image approved. Never been in it to lose. Before we finish them, we hit them with the signature move.
Go, 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 play, make you flow. Go, go. No one play with you. Before we finish them, we hit them with the signature move. Once again, man, this is the Signature Move podcast. My name is A.O. Baker. Before I get into introductions of who we got on the line right here for episode number 10, I want to let everybody know that you can find me right here live every Monday night, 7:05 live. Of course, the Ringside Club is live every Thursday, somewhere between the hours of 9 and 10. Might be later, but just tap in. And, of course, theringsideclub.com is where you can get all the past episodes, all the future episodes, all the merch, all the info. It's right there on the URL. Now, the brother that I have on the line with me right now, you might be familiar with the voice because that intro that just played was partially mine and then partially his.
Yes,
I thought it was kind of poetic and made a lot of sense. On track number 1 on the project No Flows Bar that I dropped last year, he was the guest feature. And for the first guest on this podcast, the Signature Move, I got my man Heartbreak Julio in the building, man. What's
Yes,
good,
sir. What's goody, boy, man? I appreciate you having me on. Y'all got the good intro. Y'all got the good graphics. It's a good establishment. Mind y'all, not only y'all being great minds for pro wrestling, it's just the way y'all putting this shit together. I see y'all, man. Salute Ringside Club. Salute to you, brother. It's only right, man. Signature move. We cooking those. You kind of shook up. You kind of just dropped out of nowhere on niggas. Gave niggas the 93 thing. A lot of niggas, that's the thing. You know, we got to give the flowers with his due. A lot of niggas got to understand that's one of the hardest covers of the year. We got to give that.
Yo,
we got to give
all praises due. All praises due
Facts.
to the guy Blame Boogie, who also
Facts.
is responsible for the intro graphics and basically the visual ID for the Ringside Club is all Blame Boogie. So props to that, man. Shouts to the guy.
Him, for real.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So the way that we connected, I want to tell this quick story, right? So sometime last year, I'm making beats. And I got the beats playing on like a little loop, little playlist or whatever. I'm just in the crib. I work from the crib a lot, so I'm just home vibing. And I got the beats playing, Signature Move beat comes on and whatever. I get on my Jay-Z shit. I start mumbling. I'm pacing around, come up with a couple of lines.
Yeah,
and then I hit the line about Mans Warner. I'm like, that was kind of fly. I never really threw too many. I've done wrestling references before, but for whatever reason, I'm like, let me just continue going with it. So fast forward, I got the 3 records. I'm writing. Now I'm trying to figure out who am I going to get on this project. I was already tapped in with Graham. I was already tapped in with Rich Latta, but we didn't know each other, right?
Yeah.
So I'm listening. I'm at the gym one Saturday, and I have Grapsody. Peace to Phil Lindsay. He was a past guest at Ringside Club. Peace to Righteous Reg.
Yes.
You were a guest on Grapsody.
There. I appreciate them so much for that look too.
Yeah, you were, and I've been tapped in so I tapped in right there. Followed you on the socials, tapped into the Almanac show, which I was telling you off air is one of my favorite shits right now.
I appreciate
And then from there, like, I think I was on a timeline further on. So fast forward to when I'm actually working on the project. And I saw that you had tweeted something about like what a song that you were on or a project, whatever the case is. So I hit the tap and I start listening and I'm vibing. Peace to my man Scotland, by the way, from Black Guy Wrestling.
Yo,
peace to the guys, man.
my boy, I see you out there. I see you out there in Charlotte, Charlotte, going crazy.
Yeah, they was over there at Ashe, man. That was fire. That was
That's fire.
So I tapped in, I started listening to the discography, and I'm like, yo, son is nice. And then I come across this song, right? I come across this shit right here.
Just technical, like Steamboat and Savage. Yeah. Hey, yo. I gave my soul to this rap. I can't get it back. That's on my New York Mets fitted cap. I got niggas.
I'm gonna play a little snippet of that, but that's called that's WrestleMania 3 off of the Project 87, baby. And when I tell you I was vibing to this for the remainder of the weekend on repeat. I hit you up on Monday. Would you be, cool with doing something on the project, whatever? Rest is history. You know what I mean?
History, brother. I appreciate for you to love that record of all records too is so dope to me because that was like so there's times where I like to so I'm a fan of the game, so I love all parts. So sometimes like because I'm a fan of that, I like different sounds. Sometimes I'll rap on something. Like I may want to just hear myself on a trap beat. You know what I'm saying? I may hear myself on a boom bap. So when I with WrestleMania 3 with 87 baby, that was like a vaporwave kind of vibe. And I really love that vaporwave sound. So that WrestleMania 3 was just that beat was just like so like haunting. And I love how haunting and in that period of time I was in a very like dark space in my life too. So it was a lot of shit going on and it just felt right. So that song means a lot. It was like it's one of my favorite videos and it's mad like ironic shit with the record, like even like before the record and after the record, like just I tell all you artists just be careful with shit you write. You feel what I'm saying? Cause shit you write something that should have really come to life too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not always
Right.
good too, you know? So
Yeah, man. Love the
appreciate that.
record and we connected, you know what I mean? So that's why we here. That's the background story. But yeah, like other than that, man, like, the Almanac show with that drops, I was telling you that's one of my favorite shits. How did that show come about? Y'all up to like what, 120 episodes or something like that?
Yeah, so all right, so my podcast story started in 2016. I had originally did an original podcast called "Don't Try This at Home" with my boy G and my boy Lo Vega. You feel what I'm saying? So we had did the pod. We was going hard. We was probably did like over 100 episodes with them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but then it was like COVID came around. Um, shit just was like a lot of shit was going on. It was hard to get up with niggas because of the COVID and I just was in a space of like I was kind of over it. You feel what I'm saying? Because like shit just I felt like shit just wasn't moving. You feel what I'm saying? And like it was funny because when I had originally did podcasts, was watching MLW. I was listening to MLW podcast, and I had listened. That's when it was Pritchard had his show. When Pritchard first did his show, they had if I can't remember, I think Sullivan was doing his show. I was listening to Cornette at the time,
Super early,
so
yeah.
I
That's
was,
when,
but
when
I was
Conan
just
shit first started too, right? Right around that
yeah,
time.
like Conan, yeah, Conan.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
fucking with Conan around that time, so this is when I'm starting to because Tax Stone. I really started getting podcasts through Tax Stone, so I was fucking with
Yes,
Tax.
sir.
Then that led me down that wormhole of like this is like the radio with no music, like this is a fire, like this is ill. Because I always loved the radio when he was talking shit like the stars of the world,
Right.
Angie's, the Wendy's. You feel what I'm saying? Like so, um, fast forward when I was hearing these podcasts, I'm like, damn, man, it's like no niggas. And then I realized like I be talking to me, my niggas, we be smoking weed and talking shit about wrestling like it's like the sports. Like I remember even like in our hood, like niggas was like, yo, y'all still watch wrestling? Yeah, we still watch it. And then we were so into it, it had the whole hood enthused or whatever. So at that point, I was like, yo, let me do this shit because I want to hear voices like me, like talking this barbershop talk, like in a wrestling way. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? So we just
Right.
started to do the podcast from that. And it was just people that fuck with it. If they knew, they knew. It was one of those situations, kind of like the Almanac show is now. Like, if you know, kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward, the COVID shit and with Don't Try This at Home kind of fell apart. I was like in a space where I was. It was times I was doing this podcast all the time, like dedicating my life to it. So I'm trying to, like, I'm missing time out with my daughter because it's like I gotta go to the pay per view. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that, or try to do interviews and setting up interviews and all kind of shit like that. So we was blessed enough to interview Rich Swann, Homicide, Matt Stryker, um, Disco Inferno, crazy ass Disco. I did interview Disco. I try to keep that on the low, but I did. Um, that's when you hungry, try to get any piece of content. You
Yo,
feel me?
if they
Like you
down, I'm
hungry.
down. You know what I mean?
Disco gonna take this interview. And that interview, I was asking Kenta in front of them. I was asking bad people. It was like a wrestler's trying to suck my boy Jack at the Wrestling Universe. He have this. You probably know him because you right
That's right
around
down
there.
the block. That's
Yeah,
right down the block.
exactly. So
Yep.
that the owner, that's my man from when I was young boy. He had me working in that wrestling store. I met all the wrestlers.
That's fire.
and doing autograph signings. I remember a time Mysterio was there. Was a little girl scared, so he took the mask. He told everybody, leaders took the mask off real quick for him. Was like, that's when I knew Ray was really a baby face in real life,
Yeah,
real
he's a
A1
he a
dude.
good guy in real life. Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Same
That's
time,
cool.
my man Batista, he pulled a move, but it wasn't no asshole move. It was straight like player move. Like he did some real. I wanted, because I don't want to be all that, but Batista really him too. Which they say
Word.
about Batista really him too. Batista really a sniper. I seen him my own eyes. Batista really him.
Man is
So
outside,
yeah,
Batista.
yeah, Batista a sniper. That was just it. Respect though. I don't want to talk too crazy. But
Word, word.
and so long story short, I was done. But then I got inspired because when I was done with the podcast, at this time, Bobby Lashley won the world title. So everybody was hitting me like, damn, bro, like all this shit is happening. You ain't even outside. Like niggas giving me that feeling. So I started to get that feeling of missing it. So I was like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna just do it on my own. I was gonna just have guests all the time. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out my brother Dre, right? So I did my first episode Dolly on some just me on some Joe Button when he fired everybody. He was just like,
Man
it
sitting
wasn't
on the
like
couch
that
like,
negative.
huh?
Yeah, I was on the couch and I
Yeah,
was by
yeah.
myself, but it wasn't like that. It was just it was more of a celebration, like my
Mm-hmm.
return back to potting and just talking shit with niggas because niggas just wanted. I miss niggas and niggas missed me. I wanted to talk shit with them. It was a lot going on. Danielson just signed to AEW, so they was like, "Yo, that's your boy. Your boy signed to AEW. You about to face Kenny Omega in the city. What's up? It's crazy." So my boy Dre though, my brother Dre, I was trying to get him since Don't Try This at Home. I'm like, yo, because I would see his Twitter handle. He was always a funny character, but I'm like, yo, to me, he have one of the best Twitters. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, even though it may not like because he doesn't have much followers, and he's a if you know him, you know him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not into that. If you know, he just an authentic, genuinely real nigga, but funny ass nigga. I'm like, yo, this nigga would make great for a podcast. So I was always trying to tell him that he was like, nah, whatever, like, but he was always support, show love. So after that, he had hit me up after the first episode. He's like, yo, I got you. I'm with you. And ever since then, episode 2 to 120, my brother been with me days, sending me, we in the trenches every day. We talking wrestling. He's sending me clips. We sending this. We laughing. We talking ideas. We trying to do this. We plotting out this. We plotting out segments ever since, and it worked, you know what I'm saying, and the chemistry just worked, and I'm proud that we was able to build that chemistry and really work. If you hear us from episode 2 to now at episode 120, you can hear the growth and
Yeah,
how
there you go.
far it really,
Because you give
we
each
took
other
it.
space now. There's the comfort factor of knowing like I can make my point. My man's gonna go. We got the jokes. We got the chemistry. And anytime
Mm.
somebody's actually like real friends outside of doing something on screen, that
Yeah,
that shines through. You know what I mean? That
yeah. Now
shines through.
this is like my brother. Like if I don't hear from him too long, I'm calling him like, yo, you all right?
Yep.
Okay. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
checking in. Yep.
Like the day my grandmother died and I found her, I left a pod. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I had wrote the format there. And just like a good brother, that nigga kept the format. He's like, yo, I'm leaving this here just cause, bro. Like, and that shit like that stick with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, damn,
Yep.
just to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's deeper than potting. You feel what I'm saying? This is really my friend for real. Like years on end. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
it worked out that, and it's funny because we'd be going on Facebook and we see us potting on Facebook comments, and we're talking about rest, and we're the only ones that are commenting, and it's so funny because it was like it was divine. It was supposed to be the almanac show. It was supposed to be the way it is. So it's just a beautiful thing. Shout out my nigga Bodega.
Peace.
My
Peace.
nigga,
Peace.
shout out my nigga Bodega Poppy. Shout out that nigga. He said that he been listening since episode 1. That's a fact. I met him in the Bronx. I bought him. We so tight because I had merch. Don't try to say home radio merch. And I pulled up right to the Bronx on the Concord, if I'm not mistaken. Bodega, cop that.
Love.
Love.
Still
Ever
tapped in.
since then, love, like, yo, supported. We had our own pod we was doing called Low Key Classics, where we was doing watchovers, and he would come all the way from the Bronx to my crib in Fletcher at the time, blowing big trees down. He don't even smoke. I know his shit stunk like mad Buddha. Didn't complain once. Came with good beer. Great guest. Great guest. Always pulls up. Never empty handed. Great guest. Great fucking guy. That's my guy. Bodega Flowers. He's also a big help and instrumental in my life with just being a good friend and a good brother. So flowers for my man
Hey,
Bodega.
peace to the God. Appreciate you for tapping in as well, my boy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yo, so we might as well start talking a little bit about wrestling. Make sure y'all tap into the Almanac Show.
Yeah,
Subscribe
tap in,
everywhere,
tap in, tap
Spotify,
in, tap in.
Apple
Almanac Show,
Podcasts.
Ringside Club. Tap in. It's us.
Absolutely.
Black
We was
guys,
on we
wrestling
was on the
pod. Shout to
text.
them.
We was on the text early, and I was like, "Hey, man, I have no format whatsoever. I don't know what we're talking about." But this is the week. If anybody's peeping the title of the episode, the Stinger Splash episode, because this is the last
Mm.
week that Sting, as an active wrestler, will be in existence. Like his last episode of Dynamite is on Wednesday. I wouldn't be
Uh,
surprised if he pops up on Rampage or Collision just to come out and wave to the people. Just to come
oh
out and
my
wave one time. I would
God,
not be
man.
surprised. And then that last match on Sunday at Revolution, the tag match, him Darby Allin against the Bucks. But you wanted to talk specifically about Sting. Let me bring these graphics
Woo!
up, man. This guy has so much
Woo!
history. So much history.
Woo! Let's
What
get
you
into one of the most drippiest to ever do it. Let's
yo,
get into one of the most drippiest to ever do it.
the
Whoever
pink
gave
and the
you
black,
colorways like Sting.
right?
This for the
The pink and the
fashion
black.
niggas. Who
Yo, you
put
know what?
palettes together like Sting?
I saw something today, right? I saw something today. It was a quote from Ric Flair. It was about Sting. And everybody knows like the story as far as like the if Hogan wasn't the third man, it might have possibly have been Sting. But the quote from Ric Flair had to do with going back to the 80s. And Flair said if Sting was in the 1980s WWF, there would not have been a Hulk Hogan. What do you think about that? Right? If Sting was 1980s WWF, Hogan might have still been Hogan, but do you think that Sting would have been the top guy, top three, top two? Where do
It
you
would have been
see
a.
him?
It would have been a. It would have been a. Not a lot of niggas. It would have been if Sting had that Vince promo money machine behind him in that era too, because you got to think it's paint face. This is why like niggas like LOD went crazy. The reason Sting even put the paint face on. Let's get into that. LOD.
There you go.
Paint face is popping. You feel what I'm saying? So if they had that marketing machine that they put into Sting, it would have been not a lot of it. It would have not been no Hogan. It'd have been tough for everybody. But yeah, I'm a firm believer that. I'm a firm believer that because you got to think Sting was damn near Hogan, and he was doing it on the low budget.
Right?
Best he could do with niggas before, because you got to understand Sting was popping before Ted Turner pulled up.
Right. NWA.
NWA. Let's get into that. Georgia Championship Wrestling. Let's get
Yep.
into that. Rick Steiner, when he was teaming with Rick Steiner, do your homework when he was teaming with Rick Steiner before Scott. Don't like we got to really get into this thing shit. Y'all got
When
the
you
right one.
when
This
you
my
when you
first favorite
remember
wrestler ever.
when you
Y'all
remember
got the
first
right
like what's
one.
your first memory of Sting? When you remember like first being like
My
really
first
catching
memory
your
of
eye.
Sting, on God, my first memory of Sting is the reason why I never became a wrestler, even though I love this shit. Because my first memory of Sting is Rick Rude hitting him with a fucking chair and me and be like, oh shit, this is not it.
That's bad news.
This not it. This nigga hurt my boy Sting. Get up, Sting. Rick
Man
Rude was
holding
a
on to the side of
demon.
the TV like, yo, get up.
If you're a real Sting fan, only niggas that gave us pressure, Rick Rude and Vader. Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Rick Rude or Vader, only niggas gave us pressure. If you Sting fan, if you real true Sting fans, only niggas gave us pressure was Rude, Vader, and pardon me, Muda. That's it. That's it. Muda, Vader, and okay, Flair and Luger, because he always had a soft spot for them and they always backdoored him. But so you would throw them too. But everybody else, crickets.
Right. Funny thing about Sting with me, like my first memory of Sting really came from either trading cards or like Pro Wrestling Illustrated from the magazines, right? Because
Okay.
we didn't have cable, so it wasn't like I would have been able to just kind of hit the remote and fall on TBS or TNT or whatever. But I remember this dude always stood out. Like you look at this gear, the red, white, and blue gear. All of the gear was always crazy. The pink and black. I was a Bret Hart guy. I was watching Superstars at 11 a.m., 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. I remember Bret Hart with the pink and black was the vibe. And then I see pictures of Sting. Like, yo, this is kind of fire. He got the face paint. I knew the Warrior, but I didn't know Sting. You know what I mean? So, what's your if you had to point somebody who is watching Sting maybe for the first time to a match, first Sting match off top of your head that you would show him is what?
Sting versus Cactus Jack, Beach Blast 92. I would show him Sting versus Vader, a Starcade 92. I mean, yeah, that was 92 Battle Bowl. I would show him. He got crazy in 90. I would show him. So Sting had like these crazy fatal, like he had a crazy fatal four way with him, Dallas Page, Flair, and somebody else. But they went crazy. I would play him those matches off top of my head, and
Yo,
and War Games if you want to count that as well. 92 War Games.
do you remember this? It was an uncensored. It might have been 95, 96. And it was a
Mm-hmm.
random match. I think it was supposed to be Sting and Luger, if I'm not mistaken, taking on maybe the Steiners, I believe. It was that uncensored. It was supposed to be like a tornado, anything
Oh yeah,
goes,
yeah.
no
It
holds
ended
barred
up being
match.
Sting and Booker versus
And Booker
LOD.
T.
We just watched that. We
LOD.
was just watching that on the pod last
Word?
just was watching that last week on the pod. That shit came up, and that's why we had took the promo from there. Yeah, Sting and Booker, and that was a fire match. Sting
Yes, it
Booker versus
was.
LOD, and they gave you 30 minutes of pain too.
Yes, it
They gave
was.
you like 30 to 40 minutes of pain, and that was the best thing about Sting. Like Sting was very like, especially that 94, 95 time. If you like go to his cage match, he has like the most random matchups that time. Like he was
Right.
so good at just, all right, we're gonna put Sting in here. You could tell like niggas ain't know what to do that night, and they just put Sting right there. Like he had like random matches, random US title run in between. Like in 95 that I think he had beat Kenzo Suzuki. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Sting wrestling Kenzo Suzuki, like random shit, but he was performing and it was Sting. You feel what I'm saying? That's when Sting had it was like the
He
beginning
started
of it
letting the
before he
black
went
go.
dark. So it had
Yeah.
went black. So he was on his mid 90s cool shit. Like I ain't doing blonde, y'all. I'm letting the hair fly. I'm
Mm-hmm.
on my I know Sting was pulling them back then. I ain't even gonna hold you, Sting.
Nah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, bro.
He was
Without a
definitely
doubt.
using
Like
your mommy
he might have
house.
been he might have been the only comp for Flair at that time. Like the hotel bar is going down, bro. The
Facts.
hotel bar. We see you
Facts.
at the Marriott. We at the Wyndham tonight, man. What's good? We at the Motel 5
Uh,
lobby. What's popping? Everything on the card. We expensing that to Turner. It's all good, bro.
and you know, cause so like Flair and them ran with the Horsemen. Sting and Luger was they own.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, Sting and Luger was a nasty. They had to be
They
a
was out of
nasty
control.
duo.
They was out of control with no cell phone, so there was no
Good
footage.
cop, bad cop.
No footage.
No
Wild.
footage. No footage, man.
Of course, we all know this era right here, the Crow Sting. Peace to Sky Hall for throwing that little bug in his ear. This is where I think you could probably take the character with the face paint change and all that. What's shit like? To me, I thought this is obviously like peak WCW. This storyline, as far as Sting ain't talking to anybody, he feels betrayed. Why didn't y'all trust me to begin with? He's up in the rafters, he's looking down. There's a couple times where he has the hawk or the eagle or the buzzard or whatever that bird was. What's your fondest memories of this? Because this is peak WCW. This is what pretty much set off between the NWO and then Sting turning that set off the boom, really.
This is one of the greatest storylines of all time. That's just fact of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my all-time favorite. This and the ROH versus CCW storyline is what are my two favorite angles of all time, I would have to say. But this is a work of art, man. Like, shout out to Scott Hall. Rest in peace, Scott Hall, man. A true genius of the fucking business. And it
Word, peace to the
in
God.
true genius fashion changed the landscape of pro wrestling by just saying a couple words to Sting. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and for him to, because yo, I love Surface Sting. You feel what I'm saying? So to see it as a fan at that time and just being young, so it was like I was nerdy, but I wasn't like smart marky. I was just still like in it. You know what I mean? So I'm going through it like, damn, y'all really don't trust my man. Now my man's dark. Now he not speaking. You gotta remember, Sting ain't say a word to niggas
For a year plus.
for a year straight till
Right.
he said JJ Dillon, like I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, you pussy when he stripped him.
Right.
So he ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was crazy. And then Sting, you didn't really know, like, you like, damn, is he with NWO? But like, you know, he was good. It's still Sting. So it was beautiful just to see that evolution. Then for him to slowly, the personality to come back and that lead us to Wolfpack Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Then that turns into this version of Crow Sting just being the Sting that we know today. You know what I mean? Like, those evolutions is just amazing.
Were you tapped into TNA
Of
when he was there?
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
The thing, like, I
Of
have
course.
such a gap in watching wrestling. I was tapped in from like kindergarten all the way up to like 02, 03, basically right around Austin's last match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it would be like bits and pieces. I would see something, whatever, whatever. But I didn't know Ring of Honor existed. I didn't know TNA existed. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
until much later, right around like my brother had sent me the pipe bomb. So I
Okay.
remember seeing Punk here and there, like Straight Edge Society, because maybe I'm home that day and I turn SmackDown on. But it
Yeah.
wasn't until much later, and then when I go back and watch some of the Sting like footage, I'm like, yo, this is like the Joker Sting and all of that. He was killing it there too. Like, what do you think of his best moments from TNA, and how do you think that run compares to his earlier run at WCW?
So that WCW run is just what it is. It's like it's hard to like because people forget that he really was down with TNA for a minute. Like he pulled up like in I want to say like '04 when Jeff Jarrett was wilding in that run. Like he been around TNA. Then he had like that long ass run and never left.
Right.
But that run of TNA was it really just took I really look at it like how Terry Funk had that second win in ECW and just became like this mythical figure. Like I feel like if Sting would have still been a mythical figure, but he probably wouldn't be as revered. And that TNA run really sealed his legacy. And the way he was able to produce at that rate, at that age, still give you compelling storylines, spin it into Joker Sting. You know what I'm saying? Like them TNA runs was a special time. And what I always loved about TNA, they made Sting feel like the legend he is. I always give TNA they kudos for that. They made Sting like a god when he came in. That was a big build. You feel what I'm saying? And they on FSN at the time. They on Spike T. Yeah, they trying to make it happen what they got, but they were able to create atmosphere to make Sting a big ass deal every time he pulled up. So that TNA run was special for real.
Yeah, man. One of the most notorious matches would have been this match
Oh
right here with
man,
my
we
man
ain't
Jeff
talking
Hardy.
about this, man.
this was this was bad. I mean, yo, peace to Jeff. He got himself together. It's all good. But looking
Yeah.
back on that, I remember watching that like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. But OG, you know, it is the to speak to your point about how revered Sting was at this time. There aren't too many people that could have got that off and understood like Jeff, you can't go right now, and would have been able to get that off without a problem from Jeff.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
and
Like
and you know the difference between him and the other guys, Sting a good dude. Like you can tell
exactly.
Sting
You
really
know it's coming from
forgive
a
Jeff
good
for that.
place.
A nigga
Yeah.
like Hogan or like a nigga like Rock or maybe nigga like Rome, like niggas wouldn't fuck with no Jeff Hardy like that no more. Them niggas wouldn't
Right.
fuck with Jeff no more after that.
Right.
It'd have been quiet for Jeff. They had a blackball Jeff if they could. Sting like, yo, it's all good shit happy. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and that's that Christian. Like he really a good
He's a good
brother. You know
dude.
what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you could tell that it made him sick, but Jeff was blessed enough to be in the ring with Sting that night. I'll
In
say
good
that.
hands. That's what I'm
He was
saying.
in
In good
great
hands.
hands. He was
He
in
was in
great
good
hands
hands.
for
It
sure.
was like, look, whatever you gotta take care of, you gotta take care of it. I'm gonna take care of you right now. It might be embarrassing now, but both of them came out of that all right. Like Jeff is still going today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Think about how
exactly.
crazy it is in 2024 that Jeff Hardy and Sting are still not only wrestling but still doing like things that we talk about. Like Hardy just had that match with Sammy Guevara the other day that people were talking about. You know,
It's
like
it's so funny because I'll be joking because I'll be laughing like, yo, Tony Khan's really me because I say that to say like you can tell Tony Khan is like really from he a ROH TNA kid,
mm-hmm.
ECW, because that's what the shit is like. I'm looking at it like, damn, Christian in the mix. I'm like, damn, Christian got a belt, Sting got the tag belts, Samoa Joe's the world champion. Like somebody had posted that, like, oh, the TNA kids is you damn right. We happy as fuck because that was an era. I love me some TNA, man. Like TNA was so the thing was I never stopped watching wrestling, right? So that year when the Attitude Era, like 2001, and when WCW folded, everybody
Mm-hmm.
dropped off. You know, people from our era definitely dropped off. The streets came involved, women,
You're
niggas
outside.
outside
Yeah.
playing ball. You outside with your friends, you in you drinking, smoking, whatever you into, whatever your vice is, you start to get into that shit. You start to take honus to that. But I remember I had bumped into TNA because of Scott Hall. That's why Scott Hall's always a legend. Because Scott, I actually owe Scott Hall a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just off the strength of just so crazy. But this particular case, I had I had the legal cable box. So I'm going through the channels. I'm like, oh, what's on 61? What's on the pay-per-view channel? And I seen Scott Hall on there. I'm like, Scott Hall wrestling? What's going on? And then that's when I seen Low Key, AJ Styles. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Jeff Jarrett came out, Jerry Lynn was. I'm like, this shit kind of looked like WCW, but it's not WCW, but this shit is all right. I'm tapping in and
Right.
I'm like, they got pay-per-view every Wednesday and it's $9, $9.99. Like, all right, I got the illegal cable box. I'm tapped in every Wednesday. And then that led me into, oh shit, AJ Styles wrestles at this spot ROH. Oh shit, let me get into this. ROH, Arrow Honor. Oh, the first main event was with this nigga Brian Danielson. This nigga Brian Danielson wear Regal clothes. Why he got Regal
Right.
fit on?
Right.
And all that spun to getting into it, and I never left. So I never stopped, and it's because TNA. So I have a special real love for TNA. Like,
Peace to 1-4 for the Ringside Club, Chad Law. He's another TNA dude, so y'all definitely got to connect and chop it up
shout
about
my
TNA because,
boy,
you know
fact,
what I
shout
mean?
Chad Long, man.
Yeah.
TNA. If you a TNA nigga, you just felt my pain. You just felt what I was talking about. You felt me. And my fault, I'm doing a lot of yell. My co-host Dre do all the yell, so I
Nah, you
can't
good,
yell.
bro.
So I'm just
You good, bro. We bring it's energy, man. It's Monday. We bring in
I'm
Saturday
hyped,
energy
man.
on Monday, bro. This is
Facts.
love. Back to Sting. So he did the WCW, did the NWA, did the WCW, did the TNA, and then he finds himself here.
Oh man, you
I
showing
remember
bad
this.
picks. Showing bad picks,
I
man.
remember. I remember this match like it was yesterday. First of all, I remember like Sting in WWE, like going back to again wrestling magazine days for me, when they used to have these dream matches on the cover of the Wrestler magazine and Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and always it wasn't Triple H, but you would see Sting across from Taker, you would see Goldberg and Austin. What happens if? This was as close as we were going to get, right? Because you go a few years prior with the Invasion, a lot of those dudes weren't coming over because of the contracts. They were like, if you're gonna pay me and I don't have to get off the couch, yeah, I'm gonna take that bag. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I don't have to take a bump for a year or whatever until the contract runs out. This was as close as we got to those fantasy wars and those what if type of matches and situations. What do you think about this match? You know, in general, like Sting's run obviously ended as far as like, you know, him being injured, us not knowing if he was ever going to wrestle again. But if nothing else, if you take everything else away, strip everything else away from this run, I thought this match, while on paper certain things storyline wise didn't make sense, it was just good to kind of get one last hurrah with a lot of these guys. Scott Hall took a fucking back body drop. You know what I mean, on the outside. By the
Yeah.
way, you know what I mean. So
Um. So I don't have the same memory of Matt like other people are like, oh, I'm so upset. Like I seen the back door coming in the sense of like, yeah, Sting's not gonna win. I actually thought Sting was gonna retire after this match because he lost. You feel what
I
I'm
did too.
saying?
Yeah, I thought it was a
And
one and done.
I was like, I'm like, damn, of course they would want to have Triple H. But I'm more of like, damn, I want you not have the good guy win at WrestleMania, but
Right.
I get it. They had like, especially because of Sting and what he represents as WCW. That was the final like spit on WCW Vince had to have. Um, but it was a fun match and it was a good match. It was what it was. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad in hindsight it wasn't the end. But yeah, I knew it was gonna be it was what it was. But yeah, it was a good run, and I do like some parts of the WWE run as a whole too. I like the
Yeah.
Seth Rollins shit before it went
I was
bad
about to
that
say
night, but
that Seth Rollins match wasn't bad. That was a good
but
match.
and
You know
the
what I mean?
and the bill when he pulled up Seth had pulled out the
That
it was
case.
like, yeah, the case, and he was in the case. That was fire. Like that was
Yep.
a good utilization of Sting. That made me think of like, what if, like, damn, what if Sting was in the '80s? Like, he could get shit off like this. You feel me? Like, but yeah, it was this thing is and even that shit happens. People get hurt. This is wrestling. People get hurt. I'm never subscribed to like, oh, Seth is a piece of shit because he hurt. Like, I know he intentionally hurt Sting. You feel what I'm saying? Like, shit, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that was one of the weirdest things. Like, I don't know how that became, it became the conversation like Seth is an unsafe worker when that could have happened to anybody. He did that buckle bomb 1,000 times before nobody got hurt. It was just, wrong
Exactly.
place,
I've
wrong
seen,
time.
and why? See, that another reason too is like I watched Tyler Black wrestle.
Right. Right.
That man ain't doing that. He works like I watch him do very heinous things to people live in front of my eyes. Like that was like, and everybody went home safe. That like, you know what I'm saying. So I know that Seth Rollins can do dangerous moves safely. I watched
Right.
him do it his
Right.
whole career. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, some people got hurt, but again, this shit happened. Seth got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like he just getting cleared today from getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, he got cleared?
yeah, that's what he said on the chamber that he's cleared 3 days, like 2 days or some shit.
Fire.
Yeah.
All right, so it's official. He'd be a mania.
Yeah, he ain't missing.
He'd be a mania.
Listen, yeah,
Seth cleared or
that
not, he
mania
was gonna
check
be there.
different. Niggas ain't missing that
Yeah.
mania check unless they got to.
Punk is on commentary. He's backstage,
Punk gonna
whatever he's
find a
gonna do.
mania check. Yeah, he getting that
Yep.
mania check.
Yep.
Punk gonna be on the pre-show. Don't ever think Punk ain't gonna be at that pre-show. Good
He
suit,
right next to Peter Rosenberg, bro.
good suit, cracking jokes, all that.
Did you see Muda's last match?
Yes, is the but he had like 40 last matches.
He had mad last matches. He had the Keiji Muto last match. He had the Great Muda last match. But as far as like the tag where it was him, Darby, and Sting, did you catch this one? I think
Was
this
this
was
the
at
one
Noah,
that
right?
was at
I think this was New Japan, if I'm not
what?
mistaken. I mean
Oh,
Noah.
yeah, I didn't see this one at Noah, but what I did see was when this gang formed up at Off the Ash. That shit was crazy.
Ah,
When yeah, I didn't see this Noah one. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, but
I
the
think this is
I
Noah.
seen when
Yeah.
the gang had formed that Off the Ash because Muda had made the save. And he pulled up, and it was electrifying then. And shout
Yeah.
out to Muda and Sting, one of the greatest rivalries of all time. You ain't never seen dance partners like that, man.
Yeah, man. He's in AEW. He's doing his thing with Darby Allin. So we fast forward now. I just love this pitch. I pulled this picture up just because I wanted to show the love that Tony Schiavone has for your man Sting. Every time Sting comes to the ring, Tony Schiavone is a kid. You know what I mean? He
This
is a kid. You
thing.
know what I mean? He's yelling like Christmas morning, bro. He's yelling like Christmas morning. You know what I mean? It's finally here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the tag title. So the match that's coming up, Sting's official last match this
Yeah.
weekend. These two titles, him, Darby Allin against the Young Bucks. I love what the Young Bucks are doing, by the way. The best version of the Young Bucks is a heel Young Buck.
Oh,
How you see
Hill
this
Young
match
Bucks
going?
is the best. Um, I see it being a classic. Shout out my boy Low too. Shout out Low, man. Locker room lead, tap in, Philly. What's up? We're gonna be out there. You're gonna hold us down in Philly, make sure we good. It's gonna be a lit situation, you know what I mean? But what you call it in regards to Sting and the Bucks and Darby, it's gonna be a fucking classic, man. Sting picked the right boys, good Christian boys. Them boys about to go silly, about to go stupid. Bucks know what this match mean to the business, to the history of this shit.
Yep.
Say what you want about the Bucks, they love this shit. And if you love this shit, you know what it means to have Sting's last match. They are not playing no games. They give you a whole new. They went heel Bucks for this particular reason and gave you a whole new EVP shit about to be cooking. I didn't even really scratch the surface yet on that. So they about to go crazy with this EVP shit. I love it. Them calling it the Tony Khan driver.
Yep.
Sting, I didn't say this on the Almanac show, so I definitely want to say this on the Signature Move podcast. That promo Sting cut on Dynamite with his dad, rest in peace.
Amazing, bro.
That's the best shit he ever did in his life, bar none. That was
You
like,
felt it. You felt it.
and that might be one of the greatest promos of all time. I'm trying
Ever.
not to be in a prison of the moment, but for that
No,
shit
I agree.
was,
I agree because
that
like
shit was
one thing about Sting,
incredible.
yeah, one thing about Sting, like there's been times where he's had like, the behind the paint, so to speak, moments, but you don't get any realer than that. You don't get any realer than that. He's like, time ran out on my pops. Time is about to run out on me. I'm gonna give you all I got. Whatever I got left, I'm gonna give it to you. Like you don't get realer than that.
Oof.
Like I don't think
Oof.
it's hyperbole. I don't think it's going too far to say that's among the
Oof.
best work that he's ever done.
Oh my God. It was 2 in the morning. I'm watching that on DVR. You would have thought it was 2 in the afternoon. I shook up and then I'm feeling I wanted to run through the wall. If they needed a partner, yo,
He's
holla
ready to
at me.
lift a car, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, what's up? For Pops, we riding for Pops. Thing like I'm in my head, I'm like, what happened if he win now?
Right. Right. So
You
that's the
know,
question, because like, does Sting do like the traditional? I'm going out on my back, take the pin, take the L, or do the Bucks give him? You know, he probably against his own will. Do they give him the win so he can ride off into the sunset and
give him
vacate the
that
title?
Okada treatment. Okada said, "Fuck it, I ain't
Okada put
losing."
nobody over, bro. Okada said nah. That's all he said was just
They
nah.
told them niggas I'm never coming back. Yeah.
It's not happening.
Fuck out of here.
It's not happening. Crazy. Yo, Okada is a savage for
We
that.
gonna talk to you New Japan niggas shortly. Don't think I'm not with y'all New
Yo, bro,
Japan niggas next year. Your king said I'm never coming back. Fuck out of
trust
here.
me when I tell you, I got it pulled up. I got the New Japan Cup brackets ready to go.
Oh
It's
my
whatever,
god.
but yeah. Any final thoughts on Sting, and then we can kind of just circle the world of wrestling in general for the last
Yeah,
few. But
man. Thank you, Sting, man. Thank you as a fan, man. I remember the WCW Sting tape I got. Like when he had the WCW on, like it was out. It was a series. I don't. It was like they having real interviews, and he did the whole interview. It was a documentary. He did the whole interview, no paint face, and he coming in there talking shit. He was like, "Yo, 98 Sting with a washed Vader, Crow Sting with a demolished Vader." Because they was talking bad shit about how Vader was a problem. He couldn't get up. So I love for Sting being electric, being fun, being for the kids, being a hero for niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, great matches, great moments, still giving it to us, giving us the great moments when he didn't have to at a certain point. He could have stopped, collected a check. He could have still been collecting Tom Warner bread for as
facts.
long as he could. He still pulled up, kept it, gave us every moment we could damn near get outside of the Taker shit. And he still wrestled Taker. Yeah, it was 90, but so what? Like Sting did it all. He done been in the ring with
Peace
all
to
of them.
me,
Your
Mark
Austins,
Callis.
more hit. I've been with all them goats, Hogan's. You know what I mean? So shout out to Sting, man, for a credible run, credible time, and he deserves every flower he get, every flower, every petal on the flower. Facts.
That's facts. That's facts, man. Peace to the guy Sting. Hell of a career. And we got 1 week left, so everybody that's watching this, make sure you watch that and soak it all in, because by this
Yeah,
time
man.
next week, it's a done deal, man.
It's done dotted. And Sting really like an honorable nigga. Like he ain't gonna come back like 40 other wrestlers come back. But who knows? If he do, he should come back to TNA. He should give TNA a little. I go. You maybe
One
give
little one
TNA a
time.
little run.
One little one time.
Yeah, a little one time, like a year and a half from now.
Yo, Sting coming back. It was Sting's last match, bro. TNA.
No, it's never nobody's last match,
Nah,
bro.
you
Let's
right.
get into that. What
You
last
think
match
Flair got
actually?
Flair got another one in him?
Flair got
He
another
gonna
one in
try.
him.
He's gonna try. Did you see
Flair
that
got
last
one
one?
more back door in him. You
Did
seen
you see
that?
that last one?
Yeah, that last one was.
That was spooky. That was spooky, bro.
But the build was classic though. That was one of the best builds.
Yeah.
They cooked with that. But Flair got one last back door. You talking about a match? Flair got one last back door for Sting. He just went in the Bucks office. You
Nah,
know what that
facts.
is?
Facts.
Got one more
Facts.
piece of betrayal for Sting.
I think that's the swerve, though. I think he's gonna swerve the Bucks. That's what I think the swerve is. I think like Sting probably sent them, whether he sent them or not. Flair knew what he was doing. He knew the cameras was gonna be there. I'm gonna knock on this door. I'm gonna let them think it's cool. I'm gonna swerve the Bucks at the end. Trust me when I tell you. You want to talk about good storytelling? You don't put a bow on that feud any better than the last turn is on Sting's side. You know what I mean? Like, I think
That
that's
would be
perfect.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm jaded, bro. I done seen this. You don't understand that Halloween Havoc hit different. When Flair did that, I'll never forget that shit as long as I live. Flair, I'm like, yeah, come on back, Flair. On and Pillman. He did that strut, turned around and snuffed fire out my man. I said, what? That's the
Yeah,
shit.
man.
That's like, and as a Sting fan, like nobody talk about that. Maybe the only person that can relate is if it's a little nigga right now that was a Roman Reigns fan. You ain't never seen a top guy get backdoor like that so many times, bro.
Right.
They did it to Hogan one time with who, Andre or Paul Orndorff, and then that shit really maybe Psycho Sid, but
I think it was Andre. Yeah. Yeah.
they wasn't even gang like that. It wasn't like teaming like crazy like that. The Hogan and Orndorff, like Sting really got backdoor by niggas he loved. He loved him some Lex Luger. He loved Flair. He always looked up to Flair. The
Still
Flair
kept his arms open for Luger the whole time. He's like,
whole
nah, it's
time.
cool. Like we work it out every time.
I need Luger gonna pull up in Greensboro. Don't ever think Luger ain't
Nah,
gonna be.
he
They
said
gonna
he's there.
wheel Luger out of there.
He
Believe
said
that.
he's there. He said he's there. He said it was a quote I saw probably today, maybe yesterday, where Luger was like, "Man, I had an accident or something like that, where they were talking about they're about to saw my arm off." And Sting was right there, and he has a big part as to why I still have one of my arms. You know what I mean? Like the accident was that bad. It might have been the forearm joint where they put the steel
Yeah,
plate, even though he was
yeah,
WWF at the time. Like it might have been around that time because they was always cool. So he
yeah.
was like,
Nah,
"Look," he
they was
said,
on the gym together and all that.
"Yeah, yeah." He was like, "There's nothing that can keep me away from Sting's last match." So I know the stars are definitely going to be in the building. It's going to be one for the books. I tell you that. They got that arena is sold out or close to it.
I know I should be
15,
there. And I let
16,000
Sting
strong.
down. I need to come with a. I let Sting down freestyle on the. I let Nas down beat. Cause I'm not there.
Sure, just let me get a little 4-bar scratch on there. I got you.
Yeah, we in there. We got.
Yo, what else you tapped into? You know what? I'm tapped in really, really heavy right now on the UK scene, the Rev Pro scene, and I'm really, really tapped into New Japan. So, what you been
So I
watching?
talk all that shit about New Japan, right? Because my thing with New Japan, I always felt like, especially like when it was like that era when it was like Okada and Tanahashi wrestling 40 times, and then at the same time, niggas was complaining about Orton and Batista wrestling 100 million times. So I'm like, y'all give them. I just felt like American fans had gave New Japan a leeway that they wasn't giving companies in America. And it was like, y'all complain about this,
It's
this,
true.
that. And New Japan feeds you the same three niggas as champion
It's on
every
repeat.
year
Yeah.
with maybe 1, 2 niggas in the mix. Unless one American get hot, one Asian get hot, you're going to get the same three. The belt is currently on one of the rotation. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But take that away. One of my favorite things in wrestling right now is War Dogs. War
Yo,
Dogs got it.
Gabe
They
Kid, my
got it.
boy.
They
Gabe
got
Kid
it.
is different.
They got it. I fuck with all. I
No,
fuck
all of
with
them for
Driller
sure.
Mahoney. He give me Paul Roma with drill though. Like
Yo, I'm so glad you said Paul Roma, bro. Absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes. I'm thinking it's his son. I still ain't been convinced otherwise.
It might be.
But and then the Alex Coughlin. I'm not all good with it, but the Alex Coughlin, I think is his name. He's strong as shit too. And he's
Yep.
strong for no reason. He be on his bullshit. I like Finley as the greasy, cowardly heel leading them. I really like the War Dogs. That match with Osprey and the Empire.
The steel cage joint?
Yeah, the Cage of Death. They was in the CCW Cage of Death.
That
But
was insane. That was an hour plus. That was 65 minutes of just
and
violence.
I was into it. The whole 65 minutes. I'm
Nah,
smoking my
yeah.
blunt. I rolled
I
another
watched it
one in
live.
it.
That was on my birthday, by the way. That was February 11th. That was on my
Woo!
birthday. I was up live on my birthday, 4 a.m., tuned in to New Japan World watching that pay per view, bro.
That's fire. You was turned from celebrating?
Nah, I was just up. I was
That's
just up.
gangster.
I was just up, bro.
Fuck.
I
That's
was just
fire.
up. They sent the date. What really drew me in was the Saber Danielson match, and then everything else was sprinkles on top. Saber is like everybody loves Bryan Danielson, Universal, because he's been on TV in America, and we all know one of the greatest ever. Saber is my guy. My favorite wrestler has been Zack Sabre Jr. for the last few years. Like it gets exhausting bringing him up on the pod sometimes, and I'm the only one really tapped in like that to Saber.
So, okay. So, my goats. Sting. My top 5 is this.
There
Sting,
we go.
The Rock, Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles, and Homicide. Now,
Nice.
first off, you ain't see a top 5 cooking in it. Still to this day, 2024, and throw Homicide in him because Homicide active too.
He's
My
active right
top
now.
5 is fire. We talking WrestleManias, we talking big retire. But Sting is retiring this year. Danielson sounds like he's retiring. So when Danielson leave, I'm like, damn, who's gonna be my now I need a GOAT technician. So quietly throughout these whole years, because even when Danielson retired the first time, I was like, damn, who gonna fill this void? Who's gonna feel like, Danielson's Jordan? Who's his Kobe? You know what I mean?
Right.
And his Kobe's Zack Sabre Jr.
My man is first of all, he's gonna have that IWGP title this
I
year.
can't wait. I can't
You
wait.
know what I mean? Whether it be through the New Japan Cup or it be through the G1, he will have that title this year.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I put you onto, right? So Rev Pro I was watching, You know that big Oku versus Osprey match they had.
Yeah.
This right. This was on the 18th, so it's a couple
Yeah,
weeks
shout out to
ago.
his brother, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't really. I've seen highlights, but I see that he's a champion and he's black and his name Oku.
Yep,
I love it already.
yep. This match was about 45 minutes, super fire. This is one of those matches where there was so much story going into the thing that even if
Mm.
you weren't tapped in, oh, you know what? Let me answer this question real quick. What's my top five? That's super tough. I give you my top five right now. My top five right now, as far as like if they're on TV, I'm watching, bar none. Lee Moriarty
Mm.
is on my list right now. Saber Jr. is on my list right now.
Okay.
Danielson, probably as far as the E, maybe Pete Dunne. Bianca might be on my list right now. Best ever though, Bret Hart. I'm a Bret Hart guy. Bret
I
Hart
can
is
tell by your current top five what you into.
I'm technical, bro. I want the
Yeah.
technique, bro. Dean
Okay.
Malenko. I was a Dean Malenko guy. It's tough for me
Dean.
to tough for me to boil down to a top five, but I was
I
definitely a
got a
Dean
joint on the
Malenko guy.
album called D Malenko. I feel you. I was a D Malenko guy too.
Man of a
Facts.
thousand holes, bro. You
Facts.
know, there's certain dudes like I watch a lot of the like Dynamite Kid matches, you know what I mean, and that technique. It's just a lot. So it's tough for me to say like top five. I never honestly never thought about it. I never thought about it. But my number one, Kurt Angle, I think is the
Mm.
best ever. Kurt
Okay.
Angle because he checks every box. There's no category that Kurt Angle lacks in. Right, whether it
Yeah.
be on the promo microphone, believability within an angle, in the ring with somebody bigger than them, somebody smaller than them, somebody the same size, and then the believability, you don't get much more believable than I just won a couple gold medals and I'm doing this as my second career. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's like I just came to
Facts.
do this for fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so yeah, that's as best I could answer that question. Reason why I bring this up because on this card, this dude Connor Mills, he had a match with Zack Sabre Jr. I had never seen Connor Mills wrestle before, and he went hole for hole, move for move, counter for counter with Sabre. So that's one dude to kind of keep your eye on, bro. Connor
Yeah,
Mills.
and there's a lot of them out there.
That's
Oh,
that's where
with
it comes from. UK.
you saw the
That catch as
Zach
catch
versus
can.
Danielson.
Yes, did I. I saw all
Now,
four of them multiple
before you
times.
watch this, did you know that was did you know it was? Did you going into it? Did you think it was a submission match?
No, nah, not. I thought that they were going to intentionally go for the submission because they were bringing it up.
I thought it was a submission. I might have thought I might have misread it. So imagine this: me watching this match
Thinking it's a submission match and the end with a pin.
up until 30 minutes into the match when the first pinfall happened, and I said,
Right,
"This is the greatest shit. This is the match of the year already."
right.
Oh my god.
Nah, but like that match was perfect to me, bro. I thought the match last year at Wrestle Dream was perfect, and then they topped it. You know, that's right up my alley. So, but Connor Mills is a dude to pay attention to, and another,
Okay.
this dude Luke Jacobs is like a Gunther. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's like just hard hitting, heavy hitting dude. And then this dude right here, this match. This match just happened this past weekend. I'm gonna send this to you, bro. This is match of the year if it was on a bigger platform, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Or up at least up there. And then last one I'm gonna bring up this dude Leon Slater. He's the dude that went viral last year. He has that Swanton 450. So that's
Yeah,
him.
his name is familiar for sure.
Yeah. And then the dude Jordan Breaks is another technician. He's in that same realm. But there's some
Rest in peace,
technicians
my
out
nigga
there, bro.
Matt Kirk too. You speaking on the
Word,
English
word.
brothers. Rest in peace, Matt Kirk.
Yo, Oku hit the I forget the name of his move, but like that head scissor that goes into the power drive. He basically hit his finishing move in that match with Oku. You know what I mean? So that was fire. That was like the one I heard him talk about it the next day. He was like, a Matt Kurt. He was like, that was my way of, just paying tribute to one of my best friends. I can't believe he ain't here type of shit. But
Yeah,
yeah, man.
that's
There's
fire.
there's a lot that we could definitely get into about at the top of the hour. But yo, much appreciated, brother, for coming through. It
Yo,
was only
bro, we
right.
gotta
It
do
was
another
only
one
right.
of these. This is
We could
mad
do these.
fun, bro. I
Yeah,
get to
we could
talk
do
shit
this.
about the shit out. Like I would love to just get like perfect example. I've been trying to get my War Dogs take off, but it's like I know and get off shit about Danielson and Zack Sabre, but it's so much we try to fit into one show. So I love
Right.
to get off like the shit. So what else is going on? I'm trying to tap in more too. So
Say
I
less.
appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on this beautiful record. Thank you for naming the record this show after this record. It's just and just keep doing your thing, brother. I want to appreciate you just for being a genuine human being, showing love. Um, you know, especially like just getting to know you, and you could move around a certain way. You don't, you move the opposite. You feel what I'm saying? So kudos to that. Good cloth. You already know. Queens, New York shit, you already know that's the extra bonus point. Bias, of course.
We in the crib.
Come on, you know that.
We in the crib. Y'all already know what time it is. Thank y'all for all of the comments. This the most comments this shit has had. So you came with the audience, bro. That's
Yo,
for a
we
fact.
love, I love my
Peace to
people. Shout out
everybody
to
that
my
show love to
peoples.
you, man.
Nah, they showing love to you. They know you too, brother. Don't think they don't know you. They know me. They know you. They know us. That's how it's got to
Yeah,
go. That's
yeah.
how it is. Each one teach one. You feel what I'm
That's
saying?
a fact.
Follow me at Heartbreak Julio. Everything: Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, wherever I'm there. Almanac Show. Listen to us. We drop every like Sunday or Monday. We talk that wrestling shit. It's just two niggas smoking weed, giving you conversation about wrestling. We usually cover the whole week as far as like what's on TV for the week, except excluding TNA and Collision. But that sets up room for a TNA show, maybe a Collision show. Like content is a beautiful thing. We working. You know what I mean? So tap in at the Almanac Show. Shout out my brother Dre. Shout out my nigga Artie. It was his birthday this week. Shout out my brother. Yeah, I mean, I'm about to go smoke some weed with him. Shout out my girl. Love you, babe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she go watch it. It don't matter, but love.
Yep. Peace to the God Blame Boogie. 1/4 of the club. 1/4 of the ringside club. Tapped in like I'm stealing cable. What
Yo,
up,
we
boy?
just talking about the hot box, Channel 61. You do the homework, you already know TNA. That's why I got
Nah, I
it in
mean.
TNA, the hot box.
You already
Facts.
make sure y'all tap in with Heartbreak Julio, the Almanac Show, all that. And you already know what time it is with the Ringside Club.
Facts.
Once again, every Thursday night, somewhere between the hours of 9 and 10, you can come through, tap in with us, hit the ringsideclub.com, and we'll catch y'all next week on this show, The Signature Move. Next week, Monday, 7:05 live. We out.
Tap in, tap
Peace.
in, tap in.
Fire.